Hi guys, let's get into a reading. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes, and to those of you who have booked a personal reading with me, please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information in the description box below. Let's get into it. What message do you have for the collective at this time? Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity with harm to none. Okay, so I did receive a little bit of a message earlier. I was going out and it was as if like the sky was like very clear. But the moment that I stepped outside, it was like an instant downpour. And I was getting this message of like your blessings, your where you are supposed to be in life is going to meet you exactly where you are. And it will be almost like an overwhelming downpour of success, blessings, acknowledgement, however it's going to resonate for you. But it just was almost as if like God is going to meet you where you are. And when you step into that moment, when you step into that scenario, it's almost as if like you're just going to receive this overwhelming feeling of abundance. So let's get some cards to see. Look, gratitude. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a sense of you releasing your fears surrounding something. There may be something that you're supposed to be doing, something that you're supposed to be investing in. You may currently be investing in that, or you may be trying to create something or trying to take a step towards something. This could be a move for you. This could be a change in your career. This could be however this resonates for you, but there's just an instinct I feel of needing to release this sense of fear, right? Because again, the moment that you step into that position, the downpour, the sense of protection, the provision that you need to succeed in that space is going to meet you where you are the moment you fully commit to that scenario, right? There's a sense of purpose. There's a sense of a calling that you have, right? Something that you know that you're supposed to be doing. But it's also too like a sense of you being willing to open yourself up, right? Because whatever this is going to require you to experience a sense of vulnerability, right? Meaning, it may open you up to being perceived more. It may open you up to you may not be used to having many eyes on you, right? You may not be used to putting yourself in positions where you are exposed or seen, right? But this energy is saying that you're going to have to learn how to work through that fear of being seen. You're going to have to work through that fear of being perceived. You're going to have to work through that fear of existing in a space where you're more open, right? And vulnerable, right? Because it's almost as if like that vulnerability is what is going to open up more opportunities for you, right? That sense of vulnerability, that sense of acceptance, that sense of being more perceptive is what is going to expand your world through opportunities, through many different ways. So let's get some clarifiers. It's also too like you're going to have to learn to release the need to control everything, right? That also seems like where this fear is being rooted in, right? Clarify fear. The Five of Swords, yeah, and the Five of Wands. So this is definitely you, like, learning how to be mindful not to self-sabotage, right? The Five of Swords came out in the reverse. So this is you, again, being aware not to let your thoughts get in the way, right? Don't let yourself be your biggest downfall, right? Just through self-sabotaging yourself, right? Not being willing to accept the challenges that are going to come with this new phase, right? Because again, with this new phase, it's almost as if like you're going to receive new inspirations that will again spark new opportunities, spark new openings, spark new relationships, new experiences, right? Clarify gratitude. The Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. So there is, clarify this Nine of Wands in reverse. The World came back out. The Ace of Swords. The Four of Cups. There's something here being presented to you, or there's something in the works that's getting ready to be offered to you that you're not aware of, right? Again, you working on this purpose, you working on this calling, you working on this new business, this new phase, this working on this new move, right? There's something that you're creating. It could even be you just like stepping into a new phase of life. Maybe you're a new parent, maybe you are in a new relationship. However it's going to resonate for you, you're stepping into a new role, a new phase, a new experience, a new part of your life, and you are not completely aware of what this new phase is going to bring to you. So just be mindful not to block your own blessings, right? Because this is something that you have worked towards. This is something that you have earned for yourself, right? This is something that you have not just kind of thrown together, but this is something that you have nurtured, nurtured from within, right? You have gotten to learn this part of yourself. You have really gotten like a very introspective vision for whatever this is. You've learned how to nurture it, how to heal it, how to grow it, what it needs, right? It seems like you have kind of nurtured this from a very honest and truthful and transparent perspective, right? While also it's almost as if like you were praying for something, but in the midst of praying for it, you were also preparing for it, right? There's a new cycle that you are being challenged to let go of, being challenged to transform, right? This can also be you being challenged to let your walls down, right? Because it's almost as if like it's a false sense of security. These walls that you have built for yourself. Confirmation. So, and whatever this wall that you have put up, it's almost as if it is I don't want to say detrimental, but it kind of blocks you from the very thing that you have been praying for, right? Clarify the surrender. Yeah. Surrender to this change that's happening. There is a change coming in, right? A new beginning. Again, one that so death and it's giving life and death in the same. So this is you surrendering it can't get any clearer. It can't get any clearer. You're going to need to release this sense of, it's almost as if like you're coming out of this place of rest where you're fearful of letting you're fearful of this maybe not having a clear picture, not having this sense of, I don't want to say mental stability, but there is a sense of false security is what it is. It's a false security that you have, that you're going to have to surrender in order to receive this, right? Because what you're doing is not protecting you from your shadow. It's only creating a boundary towards your blessings, right? And in order for you to receive these blessings, the ones that you have not only prayed for, but you have also prepared for, right? You're going to have to let this wall down, release this sense of control, let go of this false sense of security, right? And allow yourself to take this risk towards a new beginning, right? Release this fear of surrendering, release this fear of being vulnerable, release this false sense of security that you always have to know what's coming next, right? And it's almost that too, it almost feels as if like having the knowing or having the understanding or having clarity about what's coming next is what is giving you this false sense of security, where you feel like you always have to know, right? In order to be prepared. But the thing is, you have been preparing. Some things in life just come, and you have to use the skills that you have learned in the past to prepare to use those resources in that moment, right? I hope that makes sense. You don't always have to know what's coming in order to prepare for it, right? Everything that you have already learned is preparation enough, right? And if you feel ill prepared for that situation, there's probably something that you're going to gain from it, right? If you walk into a situation where you feel like you're experiencing lack, it's probably because there's something in that moment that you're meant to gain, right? You don't always have to give, right? Some moments you're just meant to receive, whether that's you are receiving a new lesson, maybe you're receiving a new experience, right? Maybe you're receiving a new opportunity, maybe you're receiving a new perspective, right? Whatever is being offered to you in that moment is what you're supposed to be receiving from it, if you don't have anything to offer from it, right? Let's pull 4 cards to close this message out. 1 card for what we can learn as the major lessons surrounding this message. 1 card for what we can create surrounding this message. 1 card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. And 1 card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. 1 card for what we can learn. Virgin. This is creation. This is being open. This is being willing, right? This is being pure. This is being transparent, right? This is being vulnerable, right? To the moment that you're existing in, not always having to be prepared, right? Duality. Look, you have the virgin and you have the rebel, and then you have duality as well as the death and the fool, right? That's clear duality, right? So what you can learn from this is to be fair with yourself, right? To experience all aspects of yourself, right? You're not just a one-dimensional being, right? We are multi-dimensional beings in a multi-dimensional universe, right? And so you have to encourage yourself to explore all aspects of yourself, all aspects of your world, all aspects of your possibilities, the opportunities, right? All aspects of your being in order to experience yourself to your fullest potential, right? Because there is much to create, right? See here, the Trinity, right? There's a balance, there's a connection that you have created between you, what you create in this life, and God, right? You are you have attuned yourself as the co-creator with God, right? The co-creator of your universe with God, right? And because you have not only, again, prepared yourself prayed for this, but God is getting ready to align you with the very thing that you have asked for. Not only because you prayed for it, but because you have also positioned yourself to receive it. Now, again, this is a lesson to be learned, to not be afraid of yourself. Don't be afraid of the things that you have asked for. Don't be afraid of the things that you have created, right? Because there are many aspects to you, right? You have the virgin and you have the rebel, right? The one who is pure, the one who follows the rules, the one who does everything by the book, the light in the dark, also the one who is able to access their shadows, right? And I received a message the other day that acknowledging or facing your demons or your shadows, you have to acknowledge your shadows or your demons so that they don't attack you, but that they work for you, right? Because if you suppress your shadow side, it will only torment you from the inside out, right? And it will begin to eat you alive in a sense, right? Metaphorically speaking. But suppressing things, it and eventually, if you don't learn to take control or to balance that, it will manifest in like physical illnesses and things like that, right? So you have to be able to acknowledge all aspects of yourself so that you don't become consumed by them, right? One card for what we can, the opportunities we can create surrounding this message. Healer. Again, you create space to experience birth, new life. Create space to access your shadows so that you're able to work with them, so that you're able to learn them. What flares up your shadows? What triggers your darkness? What triggers your wounds, right? So that you can learn how to nurse them back to health. It's not about having control of them, right? It's about learning to work with them so that they benefit you and don't work to your detriment, right? So in essence, that's again learning to surrender to all aspects of yourself, learning to surrender to the, because even here it's giving the virgin and the rebel. It's the same thing, the virgin and the fool, the rebel and death. You have to surrender to both aspects so that you're able to transform your traumas into new life, your bad habits into new life, right? If you have an addictive personality, instead of using it for things that are to your detriment, use it for things that are for your health and benefit, right? Use it to addict yourself to, or let me rephrase that, because if you have an addictive personality, use that in a way that it doesn't control you, right? But that it comes manageable for you, right? So again, instead of using it for things that are to your detriment, use it for things that are for your health and benefit, right? Going to the gym, use it to learn about what works for your body and what works for your the benefit of your health and in all aspects, right? So that again, you're able to create new life. Even here, the temptress, there's a duality here. There's a part of yourself that you've been hiding from. There's a part of yourself that you have been shutting off. And it may be because you have this fear of judgment. You have this fear of being perceived. But whatever you have been suppressing within yourself is the very thing that God is calling to the forefront of your life, right? There's something that I don't want to say have been afraid of, because it seems as if you've been like actively living in it, but it seems like it is on a very minuscule level, whereas God is calling this to be the forefront of who you are, right? To heal that part of yourself that you have been pushing back to the shadows, right? It's being called to the forefront because this is a part of your purpose. This is a part of your path. And this is almost as if it's like a leading or driving factor towards the next phase of your life. There's a birth, right? And even if you look at this card, this almost, not to be too vulgar, right? But this looks like the opening of a woman and the life force coming through, right? One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. One card for what we can... Okay, that's too many. Although we have focus, nature, oracle, and temptress is back at the bottom. Let's try this again. 7:11 on the clock. So again, this new phase, this new beginning is what is going to lead you into this next part of success for you. It's the driving factor towards your next phase or your next level of success. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus. Ancestors, magician. Yeah. This is God. This is your ancestors. This is your spirit guides. This is your angels. This is everybody in the spiritual realm who protects you, who guides you, who leads you, who carries you, who heals you, who shows you, who gives you that vision of what it is, who keeps it clear for you, right? So meditate on listening, right? Meditate on in the space of just learning to hear, right? You don't always have to be the one with the answer. Sometimes you just have to sit and listen in the space and the presence of God, in the space and the presence of your ancestors and those who are guiding you and protecting you in the spiritual realm, right? So that you are able to use the resources that they provide to you in those moments of meditation, right? Again, you don't always have to have something to offer. Sometimes in those spaces, you are meant to receive from those elements, right? And it seems that maybe you have always been in the position of the giver. You have always been the one that has had something to offer, whether it's your presence, whether it's your vision, your clarity, opportunity, your relationship, right? Just your knowledge, your wisdom, your advice, right? There's something about you where you always have something to offer, and very seldom do you accept or receive, right? But again, this is what you've been suppressing, right? The energy and the vulnerability and the surrender that it will take for you to accept what it is that you're meant to receive, right? Because you, again, in this energy or in this space of always being the one to give, that puts you in the position of always being the one in control. And in order to receive, you're going to have to surrender that control. So meditate on this vision, what it is that you need to release, what it is that you need to offer up, what this false sense of security, this false wall that you have put up, what is it going to take within you, right? What do you need to change within yourself, within your environment, within your space, within your relationships, in order for you to release that sense of control and to surrender to what it is that you need so that you can receive what you're meant to walk in this next phase of your life, right? One card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. The Sandman. Your dreams. And I was just going to say your dreams, right? It's you are going to have to create a new way to live out your dreams is what is coming through, right? You're going to have to, you've already created the space physically, but internally you're going to have to release, again, surrender to the control. You're almost going to have to surrender your power to yourself, right? Not to anyone else, but surrendering your power to yourself, again, means not always having to be the one in control, but knowing that the power exists within you, even if it's not on the forefront of who you are, right? You don't always have to prove that you are strong. You don't always have to prove that you're pursuing something. You don't always have to prove that you're in this driven, full force mode, right? Sometimes it's okay to take a break and to just coast, right? To let the universe, to let God, to let your ancestors, your spirit guides, right? Your angels lead and guide you on the path of in the journey in which you're meant to serve your purpose, right? Give yourself the space to rest and give yourself the gratitude your to receive this, right? Because you earned this rest. You've earned this opportunity. You've earned this energy of surrender, right? You deserve it. But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonates. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy and valuable to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.